We're asking one question. Did Homer already solve how Ukraine wins? Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has the whole internet talking about ancient heroes and doomed journeys again. Everyone's looking back 3,000 years on a movie screen. But right now, on European soil, a real one is already playing out. Empires don't collapse because they run out of weapons. They collapse because they run into a trap 3,000 years old, and they never even know you're standing in it. How does a smaller nation survive when its tyrant with 10 times its army and a god complex decides you don't have the right to exist? By the end of this video, you won't see Ukraine as a headline anymore. You'll see the exact blueprint ancient Greece left behind for how empires die and how a people who refuse to give up their home actually win. I'm SLAVIE. This is brand new series, The God Complex. 10 years. That's how long the Greeks sat outside the walls of Troy. Achilles gave them a raw force, the strongest warrior alive, and Achilles died outside those walls because the brute force alone doesn't break a fortress. It was Odysseus who ended it, not with strength, but with metis. Cunning, patience, deception dressed as a gift, a hollow wooden horse, 30 men hidden in its belly, rolled through the gates by the very people it was built to destroy. And that night, the horse opened, and Troy fell now. Hold that image, because in the summer of 2025, Russia made the same mistake as Troy did. Hear me out. Russia's strategic bomber fleet sat thousands of kilometers deep inside Siberia and the Arctic Circle. So, Ukrainian intelligence didn't storm the gates, they built a horse. For 18 months, the SBU smuggled FPV drone inside modified wooden cabins, mounted on ordinary commercial trucks, driven in plain sight deep into Russian territory. Nobody looked twice at a truck. Nobody suspected anything. Then the roofs opened. Drones swarmed out across 5 air bases at once, and 40 strategic bombers destroyed. That's $7 billion gone in one morning. That is Homer 3,000 years later, still teaching the same lesson. Arrogance is the one weapon every empire refuses to defend against. Troy thought it was too great to fall. Russia thinks it's too vast, too old, too feared to ever be humiliated. A bloated, delusional empire so drunk and so myth that it never bothered to guard the one thing that actually killed it, its own ego. And that's the disease: hubris. The moment an empire believes it's too big, too mighty, too untouchable to lose, it does. Operation Spiderweb and the Trojan horse will be studied in the same chapter of history. Decentralized, cunning, dismantling a rigid, arrogant empire that never saw it coming. In the Odyssey, Odysseus fights 10 years at Troy, then wanders 10 more, 20 years, when he finally reaches Ithaca. He can't walk through his own front door as himself because the men occupying his hall will kill him if they recognize him. So, the man who owns the house has to sneak into it disguised as a beggar. Only one soul recognizes him: his dog, Argus.
The master's hunting dog stays there, watching for him.
Waiting 20 years, blind and forgotten on a heap of dung, Argus catches his master's scent and lifts his face and wags his tail as one last moment. Odysseus can't kneel beside him. People will recognize him, so he has to keep walking, secretly wipe away the tears so no one recognizes him. Now let's look at Crimea. A Russian missile hit a home at Dnipro. Grandmother, a mother, 2 children gone. The father was at the front. Rescuers find family dog sitting on the rubble, howling into the night for people who never coming back. And he stays there night after night, howling and waiting. Then he dies. Argus waited 20 years to die at his master's feet. Krim couldn't live without his home and his family, so he didn't. 3,000 years, the same weight, the same love, war. There's many more real stories, just like Krim's. Prisoners of war coming home in the exchanges. They're starved, thin to the bone, marked by torture. Ukraine isn't fighting for a line on a map. Ukraine is fighting for the right to be Ukrainian and be free against a tyrant waging a second war beneath the first one, a quiet war to erase the language, the history, the very name of a people, because his logic is simple and it is not ancient. If Russia cannot have Ukraine, then Ukraine should not get to exist at all. That is the last ugly stage of an imperial delusion collapsing in on itself. A would-be God watching his own myth crumble and deciding that if he cannot rule the temple, he will burn it down instead. Ukraine isn't charging Crimea head-on, they're locking the doors. Now, Kerch ferry capacity cut by 75%, radar systems gone, S-400 batteries, air defense gone, the Black Sea fleet driven out of Sevastopol, majority of it is fish food, fuel, water, power cut one by one, until occupied Crimea is undefendable for the occupier and unlivable for the Russian settlers. Every bridge is down, except one, the Kerch Bridge, Putin's monument to himself. Ukraine is leaving it standing for now. A door is left open for the invader to walk back and get out of Crimea and to go back to the dump that they came from. It won't be standing for long. Cersei turned her captured men to swine. Putin turns his own into a meat production line. He feeds them to the grinder's hungry jaw, turns living men to sunflower seeds and calls it fate. The rest he governs like a mafia state. He believes he's untouchable, divine. Divine is the song that sirens sing to fools, fools who think the dead can rise. Thrones reclaim their gold, gold that turns to ash the moment that they listen. Listen to all the things you wanted still to be all the things you wished you'd never wished for. What you most want is what you most can't have, and what you most can't have is what you already had and lost. So he turns his wrath on earths that would not break. Darkness, missiles, blackout. His mistake, because Zelensky gave the world its answer. Without lights or without you. Without you. Without gas or without you. Without you. You is the only word this empire fears. Fears becoming Russian. Waking beneath his curse again is the one thing Ukraine will never carry, never bear. Bear it they refused. So the empire drowns in its own myth and crown. All that's left of him, a throne rotting alone. So, did Homer solve how Ukraine wins? Yes, cause an occupier fights for pride and territory. A free people fights for the right to still exist. And a throne built on coercion cannot conquer a hearth built on love. Americans' own story started the same way. A people who decided an empire didn't get to own them either. So ask yourself, if the storm ever reached your doorstep, if the sirens started singing in your own backyard, would you fight for your hearth the way Ukraine is fighting for hers? Empires rise on gold and lies and fall when hollow men believe their own disguise. The gods are dead, the myths remain. Man builds his throne, then breaks his chain. I'm SLAVIE, and this has been a new series, God Complex. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Ring the bell so you don't miss the next episode. If this one hit you the way it hit me, developing and writing it, please like it, type it, share it, thumbs up it, do all the things to help the algorithm like it too. Thank you so much for your support. You can support at Buy Me a Coffee link in the show notes below. Also consider becoming a channel member. That really helps a lot. Thank you guys so much.